Hi, I'm Amy and this is A Star Reads, and I'm excited for something new. I'm scared, I'm excited, I don't know, we'll see how it goes, because my wonderful friend Ruby from Ruby Red asked me a while ago if we could do, well, she wanted me to do a Amy Chooses My Vlog video, which basically meant that I chose her vlog, I chose a drink for her to create and drink, and then I chose an activity for her to do. And of course I themed mine, all my drink and my activity, to the book that I had her read. It was a success, so I will link that video up here. Please go check it out. Go check out Ruby's channel. She's fantastic. I adore her. She's a very sweet, wonderful person, and I feel like we have similar reading tastes when it comes to literary fiction. She loves literary fiction. I know I don't get to read as much literary fiction all the time as I want to, but I do love literary fiction. She also really reads a lot of nonfiction, which has been one of my favorite types of book. However, ever since I started going back to school again, nonfiction hasn't happened quite as much, but I'm still reading some. So I'm really excited that she's also going to be choosing my vlog for me. She'll be choosing my book. She'll be choosing a drink that I will be making or getting. I don't know what it is, so we'll find out when I watch the video. And she'll also choose an activity for me. So I can't wait to see what that is. In fact, I have a package here that goes along with, I think it goes along with the activity. I don't know, because I haven't opened it, because I haven't watched the video. And it's been sitting here for so long. I'm like, Amy, you have to get to this. So I'm finally getting to this vlog. I just can't wait. Okay, I'm ready. Are you ready? Okay.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this video. Thank you so much for trusting me to curate this vlog experience for you. First up, for your beverage, I want you to go to a Starbucks near you and order the apple crisp macchiato. You can have it hot or iced, whatever you're feeling. I had it hot and I thought it was so delicious, and the fall flavors were just really hitting for me. I think we've all had like plenty of pumpkin spice, but the apple crisp, the cinnamon, it was so delicious. I think the drink comes with oat milk, but do whatever.
Apple crisp macchiato. Okay, so I was supposed to do this a while ago. I don't know if they'll have the apple crisp macchiato, but I'm gonna try, and maybe they can make it for me. I hope so. I'm sorry, Ruby, that I didn't get to this sooner. I fail, but that sounds really good. And actually, we're still getting really cold weather here. We're getting a lot of ice. We did have a little bit of snow last night, so it still feels like winter time. So any kind of wintertime vibes for a drink, that sounds really good.
And then for your activity, I have included a link when I sent you this video to some instructions, but I'm sure you can find plenty of other options out there. I want you to make some paper pirate hats, and bonus points if you make one small and put it on CC. I think everybody would really appreciate that, maybe except for CC. And finally, the book that I want you to read is something that I'm hoping will just tie all this together thematically, and I think you're gonna have just like a fun, good time. I really hope you like it. It's a book that I bought myself last year, and then it was one of the first 5-star books I read this year. After I read it, I held on to it because I knew that eventually I was gonna want to share it and give it to somebody else to read and enjoy just as much as I did. So I did just go ahead and mail you Cinnamon and Gunpowder by Eli Brown.
Oh, it's the book.
Go ahead and open your package now, because this is what's inside. It's a pirate book, it's a food book. A chef is captured by pirates in the 1800s, and they go on some adventures in the high seas.
Yes!
And I hope that you also enjoy your adventures in this video. So I hope you enjoy, I hope you have a good time, and yeah, thank you so much for letting me do this for you. I can't wait. Okay, good luck.
Oh, that's perfect! Okay, so this is the book. So let me open it. Oh, so it was a 5-star read. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. Oh. Oh my goodness, look at this. This was what she made from, I think it was, wasn't it Kayla's recommendation? Because Ruby has done this video a couple other times with some of her other friends. And was this the one from Kayla that Kayla asked you to do, or was this the one that Martine asked you to do? I don't know, but I love it. It's a bookmark. And it's fuzzy, it's got the felt on top, and it's beautiful, this beautiful mushroom bookmark. And she says, Amy, hope you enjoy this read. Thanks for letting me pick for you, Ruby. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Oh, I love this. So I love books on boats, you know. I love books on boats. So the idea of pirates and then foods, because I'm a foodie. I love food. Actually, I went to culinary school, so I paid a lot of money to be good at food. This is so exciting. I did hear Ruby talk about this a little bit, and I was very interested in reading it because, you know, pirates and food. There's nothing better than that. Cinnamon and Gunpowder by Eli Brown. This is very exciting. So it's 1819, and the renowned chef Owen Wedgwood has been kidnapped by a beautiful yet ruthless pirate. Female pirates, yes! Oh, he will be spared. Mad Hannah Mabbit. So our pirate's Mad Hannah Mabbit tells him, as long as he can conjure an exquisite meal every Sunday from the ship's meager supplies. This sounds amazing. So it's also like Chopped. It's like Chopped, because the only way that this guy survives is by taking whatever they have, like in those Chopped boxes. If you've not watched Chopped, go watch. It's a fun competition food show. And he has to make something delicious from it. And I guess if it's not delicious, you know, he's gonna have to walk the plank or something. Oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun. I'm not gonna read any more because I want to be surprised. Hi, it's Amy from the distant future. And what I meant by I'm ready was I'm ready to read this book once my TBR allows in several months. But here I am. Mom and I are on a trip to Orcas Island. School is out. And Starbucks definitely does not have the apple crisp macchiatos, but I'm going to do the best I can. There is a grocery store here. I will be picking up the items I'm missing to create that, and hopefully we'll have a pretty decent apple crisp macchiato while we're here. Another thing I want to do while we're here is a project that I'm doing for my students, because they're not out of school yet, and I plan on seeing them next week. And they're all going to middle school, so I wanted to create them these bookmarks that had a space for them to put their schedule on it. Like I'll actually put like first period and then maybe some information that they could fill in themselves. And like a little note or personalization from me. And maybe I'll add the mascot from each of their middle schools. I have students going to 2 different middle schools. So I got cardstock that have the colors of their middle school. And then I'm going to use like silver for one school because that's one of their colors, and then gold for the other one because that works for their colors. So I am hoping these turn out pretty well. I'm very excited about them, actually. I will share that process with you, the making of them, over the next couple of days until we head back home. Okay, so I'm about 27 pages into this, and what I can tell you so far is that it's written in diary format, and this is because our main character, Owen Wedgwood, is a chef, and he was working for Lord Ramsay, who is one of the high-up people in Pendleton Trading Company, which is one of those like British trading companies, and they're at this meeting with other owners of this trading company or other important people within this company, and during dinner, which Owen had created this beautiful, amazing dinner.
All of a sudden, this really famous pirate named Mad Hannah Ramsay. Nope. All of a sudden, this really famous pirate named. All of a sudden, this really famous pirate named Mad Hannah.
All of a sudden, this pirate named Mad Hannah Mabbit shows up, and she's this beautiful woman that is very well known, very famous. And she kills Lord Ramsay. She knows who he is. She kills him, and she steals his chef. She kidnaps Owen, our main character. And so Owen is on this ship, and he is telling us about this whole experience. He's telling us what's going on and how she wants him to create a meal for her once a week because she wants to keep, you know, her status of being very important. You know, the captain always gets the best service. So he has to figure out how to create a meal out of the horrible, nasty stuff they have on the ship. And he's also trying to figure out if he can escape. So that's kind of where we're at so far. And I'm enjoying this point of view, Owen Wedgwood. He's not really a likable character at this point. He's kind of an annoying personality. I just get the feeling that if I were to see this character, like say I were to put him in a movie, he would be this like stuffy, nasal man who was totally full of himself because he knows he's such an amazing chef and he's very important. Even though he's been a servant to Lord Ramsay this whole time, he kind of seems to put on airs. So I kind of am enjoying this perspective. He's sort of funny to listen to, and I just can't wait to see what his perspective is like as this book goes along. Is he going to shift his allegiance? Is he going to escape? I don't know, but we'll find out.
Okay, so this is basically what these are going to look like. They have this schedule including what time their classes are, the teacher name, the class number so they know where to go, and then obviously lunch is very important. I'm going to put the name of the middle school up here, and then I've got middle school down here, and then I'm going to personalize it on the back, just something a little bit that just says thank you for helping me become a teacher, and then that's it. That's their bookmark class schedule thing. Hopefully they like it. We'll see. Okay, so I'm currently on page 78, and there's definitely a lot of little witty bits in here that I'm enjoying. It almost feels sort of tongue-in-cheek, some of the humor. I love the captain of the ship, the female captain of the ship. She's a fantastic character, and I'm looking forward to getting more from her. She's super witty, very quick with her humor, and I've chuckled quite a few times, just the things that she says to our main character, what's his name, Owen Wedgwood. And then, of course, he's done his first bit of cooking because he is a chef. The descriptions of the food, I was like, oh, I just love it. And, of course, he described his philosophy on taste. This is definitely the kind of book that someone who loves cooking or loves food will really enjoy because it is fun to read the sections where he's talking about his love of the food that he's cooking. And then, of course, other people enjoying it. It sounds like something big is about to happen based on the title of the next chapter, but I don't know what that is. I should say that yesterday or the day before, I don't want to say I was having a hard time reading this, but I think I was just having a hard time reading in general. And there were a couple times where I was like, ugh, I just don't have the patience. It was not capturing my attention as quickly as I wanted it to. And so I wouldn't say I was bored, but I would say it was easier for me to put down. But now that I'm kind of getting more into the relaxed mode of being on vacation, and I'm not trying to rush this, because another problem is that I've been feeling like I have so many things I need to get done that I've been trying to rush the different things that I'm reading. And I'm like, Amy, just take your time and don't pick it up if you feel like you're needing to get stuff done. Just read it when you feel relaxed and comfortable. That helps me to enjoy it a lot more. I think that my reading in general has been suffering lately because I know I have so many things I need to do now that I'm out of school. Like you'd think, okay, I'm out of school, I can relax. But I've also got this mentality that I have so many things I have to do, and it's been stressing me out. Not horribly so, but just enough so that it's been hard to read and really enjoy my reading. So at this point, I'm really starting to enjoy it because I'm kind of letting some of that stuff go. If things don't get done, they don't get done. And that is okay. It's sometimes hard for me to accept.
Just so cute.
Homemade chocolates, did she say?
Yeah. All right, so now we're waiting for the ferry.
Yes, we are.
And I've got my book to read. And what are you reading?
I'm reading, I have to look it up each time. Always and Forever, Laura Jean by Jenny Han. This is the third in the series of, what is it?
All the Boys
All the Boys
I've Loved Before.
I Loved Before.
How you liking the series overall?
I love it a lot. I want to watch the show now. Elisa told me about the show and she said, have you seen it yet? And I said, no, so I want to watch that. And I see that little green light.
She never looks at the camera where she's supposed to look at it. She never does. So I keep pointing to where the little light is, and she looks this way, and then she goes, I see it, I see it. So apparently we're in great spirits today.
I am. We had a wonderful time.
We did. We enjoy coming back here to Orcas Island. I think this has like become our favorite vacation getaway because it's so close to home. It only takes, you said, an hour to get to Anacortes,
and then
about an hour on the ferry. And the ferry ride is great, so that doesn't even feel like a chore.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like an hour, does it?
No, it doesn't feel like a chore either because it's just a nice ride. And then it's just lovely. It's relaxing.
This is our first time here in the spring, summer.
Yeah, I'd say it's summer, right?
I don't remember.
Well, maybe not summer quite yet.
Yeah. But the sun is shining every single day.
Oh, it's been beautiful.
We've been here, we usually are here in the fall or the winter, and not all the stores and not all the restaurants are open. So this time we got to go to a restaurant we've never been to before.
Yeah, Kingfish. It was so good. It was really, and actually every single restaurant we've ever eaten at here has been good. I don't think we've had one bad meal in Orcas Island.
No, I don't remember.
It's just not cheap. It's not cheap at all. None of the restaurants here are cheap. Even the less fancy ones are not cheap. So food is amazing, which is good because the price is not low. But it's vacation.
Yes. Excellent.
And we didn't do too much. We were mostly like relaxing. I had a lot of projects to work on and I was reading and you were reading. How many books did you end up reading?
I think I read about 4 or 5.
In 2 days. Well, 2.5.
Monday, Tuesday.
We weren't here all day Monday. We were here.
Yeah, but I was reading on the ferry too.
True.
I just been reading like crazy.
Like 3 days-ish, and she's read 4 or 5 books. Yeah, pretty wild. So we're just getting ready for the ferry, just hanging out, reading our books, and
we're just out here right now.
finishing out our vacation. Okay, so I'm currently on page 114, and we're at a point where I feel like our main character is, I don't know how much his perspective is changing, but I know that he's starting to see a little more of the truth behind some of the things he either blindly ignored or just didn't understand. And I think that can be true a lot of times when it comes to like the bad guy. Who is the bad guy? Is the bad guy really all that bad? And then who is the good guy? Is the good guy as good as they seem? And I love when stories kind of play around with this good guy, bad guy narrative, and then they get flipped. And I'm not necessarily saying that this is getting flipped completely, because the quote-unquote bad guy in this is still doing some really bad things according to like what is taboo within society. But the good guy could end up being worse than the bad guy, especially when the things that they're doing affect so many more people, such a larger expanse of people, and is done for reasons that are not honorable. So I think that that is always fascinating. Like having that conversation is very fascinating, and I'm finding that is starting to be one of the conversations that we're having in this particular book. And I like that. And we're seeing things through our narrator's eyes, and he has a very hard time letting go of some of the beliefs he has, the things he believes to be true based on how he's lived his life, based on some of the things that have worked and been good for him. But he does have a very moral sense of character and a very strict idea of what right and wrong is. And yet I think that's beginning to be challenged. And I am looking forward to seeing what kind of realizations our main character comes to.
am about halfway through now, and I'm really getting into this. I was thinking about like why it took me a while to get into this one, because it wasn't slow going in the beginning, but for some reason it wasn't capturing my attention in the way that I had hoped it would. And that may have been something to do with how I felt about the characters at the beginning, but they really are becoming very dynamic. I'm really enjoying getting to know Hannah Mabbitt more. Our main character, Owen Wedgwood, he is growing a lot. And so my first impressions of him, that he was this kind of like sniveling, goody, just thinks about himself kind of person, I wouldn't say that that's inaccurate. I would just say that his character is really growing now as the story goes along. Another thing I wanted to mention, because one of the sections that I was reading last night was really talking about some of the darker sides of what life was like at this time. And I feel like the author wrote these sections, these really hard content sections, fairly well, because they're devastating and they're horrifying to read about. But I think it's also interesting that he kind of leaned into the fact that during this time, especially when there were pirates, when there were really unfortunate things happening in the world, he didn't kind of try to sugarcoat that and say, okay, these things didn't actually happen. Look at the life of a pirate, or look at the life of these orphans. They were so much better than you'd think they were, like, or at least brush the horrible stuff under the rug. And it wasn't done that way. Like, as much as you think this is a funny, fun pirate book, there is a lot of dark stuff, and it's not shied away from, which I do appreciate, because that is a lot more realistic than a lot of the portrayals of pirates that we get. We think of being a pirate or living these lives of crime and stuff like that as being very whimsical in a lot of ways and exciting and fun, but then there's some really awful truths that we tend to ignore when it comes to this time period, not just with piracy, but also with how women were treated, how orphans were treated, and you are getting some realities here that are very hard to swallow. But I'm actually happy that the author's not shying away from those things, and yet is able to express them in a way that I felt like wasn't so triggering that you couldn't handle these horrors, because they are horrors that are happening to one character in particular. They are a reality of the time and a reality of this person's experience. It is tough though, so please do look up trigger warnings for this book if you go into it, because there are some horrible things that happen to characters in this. And not in this, like, we're not actually actively seeing anything happen, but we learn about these horrible things that have happened to these people within the story. Okay, so I have made my apple crisp simple syrup, and it smells amazing. It definitely smells like the cinnamon. And I used apple juice, even though this particular recipe said to use water, but I wanted it to taste as apple-y as possible. It's pretty sweet, but it's a syrup, so you're supposed to use it in smaller amounts. And it has to cool completely before I can put it in the fridge. So I'm gonna be up reading for a little bit until this is done. Okay, so when I said I wanted Starbucks espresso beans, Mom thought it meant I wanted Hollis Street coffee espresso beans. So we got Hollis Street coffee espresso beans, and I'm going to grind them. I let the coffee bloom. Okay, so even though we don't technically have Starbucks coffee, we have a Starbucks coffee cup. And it's got a mermaid on it, so that'll be Mom's cup. And then because it's a pirate book, I figured I had to drink out of Bruce because he's a shark. So I thought this was perfect for the ocean. Also, I didn't point out, we both decided to drink ours hot because we are hot coffee drinkers. We will drink iced coffee occasionally, but not very often. Okay, so we don't usually heat up our milk because we just drink regular coffee. But because this is a macchiato, you're supposed to heat up your milk. We don't have regular milk, we only have half and half. Okay, well, it's not a real macchiato, I guess. We're doing half and half. I should also point out that I don't actually have an espresso machine, so our coffee is more like coffee. So basically nothing about this is very macchiato-ish, but that's okay because the apple crisp syrup is amazing, and that's gonna give us the whole authenticity part of this. Okay, so the half and half warmed is in there. I've got my syrup. I don't know how much I'm supposed to use, to be honest. But we'll start with 1 scoop, and then we can always add more. Okay, so now I see why they use milk. It's definitely curdled, but we're gonna give it a try anyways.
Ooh,
Okay.
yum. This looks good. Ooh, yum. Here, cheers. Clink.
Cheers.
Arg, I mean.
Arg.
Arg.
Give it a go. I'm making you try it first. Does it need more?
Yeah, I don't taste the syrup at all.
Okay. Take 2.
Oh,
You can taste it now?
Yes, apple. Yum.
Now I'm gonna try it. Cheers. I don't taste the apple in mine. But
Maybe
it
add
could be
more
a bigger
coffee.
cup.
Yeah.
So I've put in some more syrup. Let's try it again. Okay. Now I'm starting to taste it. Definitely quite watered down because we didn't use espresso, like concentrated espresso. And the curdling, I mean, it's not horrible and it's not bothering me. And it's not chunky or anything. I should have had milk. Poor planning. Poor planning. I like this syrup though. The syrup is really lovely. And in fact, we were thinking we should use the syrup on like ice cream or waffles or something. Because I also kept the apples. And so I was like, ooh, that would be delicious. So it's got multi-purposes. One thing that I should say about this drink is that it has been raining all morning long. So even though it's summertime, this is like the perfect cozy drink that you want when you need a bit of pampering and feel cozy. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you, Ruby, for the suggestion. It was fun to make the syrup and then, of course, taste testing and trying to see how we can make it taste a little sweeter, a little more appley. And it was fun to pull out my Bruce cup again, too. So this was great. And I will make sure next year when Starbucks is having their apple crisp macchiato during the wintertime that I get one so that I can compare. See if they're any similar at all. Okay, so Cinnamon and Gunpowder by Eli Brown. I have about 100 pages left, and my goal today is to get this finished because I want to make my pirate hat, including one for the animals, and maybe I'll squeeze Mom's head into one, and get this vlog wrapped up so I can put it out there for you all to see. I've been enjoying this. One of the things I really wanted to say yesterday that I didn't hop on and film for was that I just think the writing style, Eli Brown's writing style, is very intelligent. Like when you read it, you can tell that this author is thoughtful. He really knows how to use words to his advantage, and the types of words he uses, the way he puts the words together. I feel like there's a lot of thought that went into the writing of this, and it could just be his style, but I just think that it feels very smart. Even though this is a fun book, it's not necessarily meant to be the most intelligent book. It does have some really important themes that are in here, and you can tell that even though they're not heavy-handed, they're subtle, they're very important, and they come from a place of knowing what his intention is when making this book. I guess what I mean to say is that writing like this could feel like it was pretentious, and that he was trying to show off his level of intelligence, or whoever was writing this was like, let me show you what I can do with words. But it doesn't feel that way. It actually just feels like it was very cleverly done. And I think that it's beautiful without having to be overly detailed. And not saying that overly detailed is bad, because, I tend to like those kind of books. But it just seems so clever the way it was done. Like, very intentional use of words in this. And I really like that. I just think it is very easy to read and also enjoyable to read. Get in the galley and go make me some dinner. Owen's always trying to escape. Hey, Mr. Apples. Do it. What a good guy. He's like, I just want to be pet. I'm okay with this. Hey, Mr. Apples. Look at your face. He's like, what is this mess? Oh no, her head's not quite the right shape for it, is it? Little brass fox. Hey, little brass fox. Oh. Sorry, we're trying to make ear holes. Look at the amount of patience she has.
No.
Well, she doesn't like that. Sorry, C's. Yeah, it's not gonna be. Well, there's one ear. So as it turns out, I have the most patient pets on the planet. And the brass fox does not have a head for trifold hats. So poor brass fox, just it wouldn't fit to her head at all. But Mr. Apples did really well and looked pretty good in his hat. He actually didn't mind it so much. He was just relaxing. He likes the attention. He's like, oh, you're gonna hold me? Yeah, put a hat on me. I don't care. For Owen Wedgwood, for moms, I had to make a smaller one because we had a really hard time finding newspaper. You'd be surprised how hard it was to find newspaper. And there was a small newspaper, only had 3 pages. So I didn't have enough to make a big one for mom and then also the 2 small ones for the pets. So mom got a small one too. And it actually stayed on her head. So it worked out pretty well. And I did a chicken because it's Owen. And then of course I'm Captain Hannah Mabbit because she's pretty awesome. So I have been doing this instead of reading the book. And so it's been fun, but I've got to go read the book. Hello!
Hi.
So we thought...
Did we?
We thought that maybe we should try an actual Starbucks macchiato and add our stuff to it. So we have more.
Solo macchiato.
Yep. And I got a double macchiato. There's not much in this.
You know, espresso usually is in little tiny cups. Yeah, they only fill it like half full.
Yeah.
Mine is, I have about this much. Half a scoop to start?
I don't think that's going to be enough.
Okay. How's that
That
look?
does seem like a lot. Yeah, go ahead. Try that.
Okay.
We don't have a stir, do we?
It's almost all foam.
Yeah.
I feel like it's about right there.
Yeah. If you put that much in mine, put half that in yours.
Okay, so half. Ooh, this seems like it's gonna be good.
Yeah, we don't have a stir, darn it.
So we're kind of
stirring by swishing.
I'm gonna cover the whole. Woo!
Don't do that. Swirl, swirl, mother. You're flipping off the camera. Cheers. Oh, that's good. And that was enough. That was actually the right amount.
Yeah, because I could taste that this almost could go sweeter if I'd put more in here.
Do you want more?
No.
Oh.
No, I meant too sweet for me.
Oh, yeah. It's delicious. This is way better than the coffee that I made at home. What would you say?
I liked the one at home. I really liked it. I drank the whole thing. Amy had to add a lot more of the syrup to hers.
I think because of this being espresso, like an actual espresso,
Oh, yeah.
I think that makes a difference. I'm glad there's foam too. I like, and then
No, this is really good. I mean, we couldn't make the foam at home. We couldn't, we didn't have an espresso machine, so we just had espresso coffee beans.
espresso.
Espresso.
Say it again.
Espresso. Espresso. Am I saying it right?
Don't just say what you were saying. Espresso. There's no X there.
Espresso.
No, that's not right.
We didn't have anything to make it anything like Starbucks espresso macchiato. So obviously this tastes different. But I like the one you made, at home. I liked it. It was really good.
I mean, yeah, it didn't taste too much different than this. It's just, it has like a different texture. And I don't know. It's a little different. It's definitely a little different, but not as different as, I don't know. I like this one better.
I like the one at home better. This one's okay, but maybe I don't like as much cream. This is all
This is
foam.
milk.
Oh yeah, we had a half and half. I love half and half.
I wanted to get a more authentic experience, and I feel like we did that. So that feels good to me. And I am like 40 pages left of my book or so, and so I'm going to finish that at some point. I keep saying like I'm going to finish it today, and then I don't finish it that day. We're currently in like the thick of the action and the adventure and stuff like that. The big battle sort of just already happened, so now we're kind of seeing what's going to happen next. And I am really, really having a good time at the moment. But it's also sad, and there's some really sad things that have happened. Someone seems to think I'm gonna give him food. But you're wrong. I ain't giving you nothing. It's not good for birds. Oh, what, you get shy now that I put the camera on? You're not willing to talk anymore, huh? Watch, the second I turn the camera off, he's gonna squeal at me. So pretty. I did it! I finished Cinnamon and Gunpowder, and I definitely had some tears flowing at the end of this because I really grew to love these characters so much. Our main character, Owen, had such a huge transformation as a character. Absolutely loved his transformation. And then, of course, I have always been a huge fan of Captain Hannah Mabbit. So I probably am going to give this a 4.25 stars. Now, I've got to say, the way that this story went, the direction it took, my love for it grew and grew and grew. However, I think for me, in the beginning, the pacing was a little slower, which is probably why I'm going to give it a 4.25 stars. And it took me a little longer than I wanted to really get into this at the beginning. There was so much about this that I loved. The writing style, as I mentioned before, was very unique and smart and intentional. And I loved that. I love the food writing. I mean, this book makes you want to eat. And if you're a foodie, if you love food like I do, it will definitely get your salivatory glands flowing. As gross as that might seem. It seems so delicious. And this actually has a recipe at the back, the vanilla rose amaretti, which Owen does make in this. And I'm like, ooh, maybe I need to make these at some point. I'm a big fan of books set on ships, pirates, especially when the message is more honest to what pirate life would have been like. And I really love food. So like, this is like the perfect combination of things. I really love the conversations in this and the look at colonialism and having people fight against that colonialism at the time. It was just really wonderful to see this greater intention behind the things that were happening, as opposed to, I just want a lot of money, or, there was one half that wanted a lot of money, but the other half had more important goals that you don't necessarily find out until you go along further in the book. And I really like that a lot. I like the message in this a lot. And what I did like was the representation in this. I don't feel like our author is an own voices author. However, he included a deaf character. He included a character who had an amputation. He included queer characters. And just bringing in these different variety of characters into the story. The crew was made up of a whole bunch of different people from different countries that had different experiences, and having these different perspectives I felt was really nice to see that there was such a diversity of characters within this particular pirate ship. And I felt like it was really well integrated into the story. I didn't feel like it was performative, like the author was doing this just to make sure they ticked off those diversity boxes. I felt like there was real intention behind the use of the characters and why he placed them in the story, and the message that he wanted to send by using these characters. Execution-wise, this is a 5-star book. This is really a 5-star book. The only issue was my engagement at the beginning, because I felt like the pacing was a little, it wasn't slow. I mean, and I do like slow books, but it just took me a while to get engaged. And for that, and just, you know, how you feel. Like, I always have a feeling about books when I read them, and I felt like a 4.25. Now, on a reread, I might actually give this a 4.5 or higher, because of the elements of this are just, they're just great. So I highly recommend Cinnamon and Gunpowder. Please look up trigger warnings, because there are some things on here that are difficult to read about. And go into this knowing that it's historical and it has a lot more of the literary flair to it, to the writing especially. So yeah, absolutely love this. Thank you so much, Ruby. This was so much fun. I know it took me a while to get to this, but once I got into it, once I was here and I was able to do all the fun stuff, like make my pirate hat and be able to make the drinks, and attempt that, like we'll attempt it and then go and get a more realistic version. It was a blast. I really enjoyed this whole experience. Thank you for curating my vlog. You did a wonderful job, Ruby. I think the whole experience was 5 stars. Absolutely a 5-star experience. And you have a very good idea of what kind of books I'm gonna like. So this was such a great choice, such a great choice. I will link everything you need to know about Ruby's channel in the description box down below. So please go check out her channel. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see my next secret TBR, because I had so much fun doing this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.